Today, I'm delighted to honor John Churchill with the President's Award and the Judith Krug Medal. John served as the 9th Secretary and CEO of Phi Beta Kappa for 15 years, retiring in May 2016. When he told me, as I mentioned in the letter to you all, only a few weeks after I was elected, that he was retiring, one of my many reactions to that statement was, oh, how unfortunate that we didn't get to honor you at a triennial. And so I came to realize how we could celebrate his long tenure with us and celebrate his retirement in this way. He oversaw the creation of the National Arts and Sciences Initiative and the Secretary's Circle Major Donor Program. He strengthened support for chapter and association officers, saw the society successfully through 2 economic recessions, and established long-standing relationships with peer organizations. As the public representative of Phi Beta Kappa, John earned the respect of people across the country as a thoughtful and knowledgeable steward of our mission. More than anything, John's impact on Phi Beta Kappa came from his warm and good-natured spirit. He built a loyal, hardworking, dedicated team in the national office and regularly inspired them with philosophical explications, thoughtful dialogue, intense debate. I think there was a book club maybe, and even the occasional song. The atmosphere and spirit of Phi Beta Kappa as a family comes very much from John. I enjoyed working with him first when he became a member of the Committee on Qualifications when I was on it, then when I was a senator, when he became executive officer, and finally as vice president, and then for a little less than a year as president. It is therefore my personal pleasure to present the President's Award and Judith Krug Medal to Secretary Emeritus John Churchill on behalf of the Phi Beta Kappa Society. Okay, so the Judith Krug Medal is an actual thing. It comes in a lovely case.
Not just a philosophical construct.
Which I can't open. Let's see here. There we go.
Oh, that's Judith.
It is Judith. There you go.
Oh, sweetheart, that's great.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you very much. I would not say that every moment of every day that I spent as secretary was delirious with joy. But every day was a moment of consequential contact with the roots of meaning. Now, this is an age of turmoil, confusion, and raucous confrontation, a time when balance is increasingly difficult to achieve. So let me recommend a book, Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny, subtitled 20 Lessons from the 20th Century. Snyder won Phi Beta Kappa's Ralph Waldo Emerson Award, as some of you will remember, in 2011 for his book, Bloodlands, Europe Between Hitler and Stalin. The 10th lesson in that recent book, it's very short, I recommend it, is in a chapter called Believe in Truth, which is an injunction not only to believe that things are true and not only to believe things that are true and not false, but to believe, it's an injunction to believe in the difference between truth and falsehood, between things that are so and things that are not so. This is important, Snyder writes, because, quoting, "To abandon facts is to abandon freedom. If nothing is true, then no one can criticize power, because there is no basis upon which to do so. If nothing is true, all is spectacle." The incessant drumbeat around us serves to obfuscate the distinction between truth and falsehood, leaving us with the impression that since nothing is really true or reliably true, you can choose whatever it pleases you to believe. This, of course, flies in the face of the wisdom attributed to Daniel Patrick Moynihan, among others. You're entitled to your own opinions, but not to your own facts. Let me bring Phi Beta Kappa's oldest commitments to bear on this predicament. Now, at this point, I ought to explain I had this written out before I came to Boston. Otherwise, you will think I've plagiarized our current secretary. According to our founding documents, the 3 stars on the key, pointed to by that curious little hand down in the corner, stand for literature, friendship, and morality, navigational lodestars to steer by. In this way, they enlarge or unpack the meaning of the Society's motto/name, "Love of learning is the helmsman of life." But what do they mean? I suggest that literature should be taken in its 18th century sense, as learning in general. But the sense is a little different from what it might first appear. Literature means not so much the stuff that can be found in books, but the condition of someone who has acquired or is acquiring it. So we can speak of someone as a person of great learning, or well-lettered, or, archaic as it sounds to our 21st century ears, a person of literature. Literature is related to friendship in an interesting and revealing way. Aristotle in the Nicomachean Ethics distinguishes several types of friendship. Some are based on giving and receiving pleasure, and some on other forms of mutual usefulness. But the highest friendships are constituted by reciprocal and active goodwill between equals, goodwill being an interest in the other's good for his or her own sake, not a transactional exchange of tit for tat. So true friends seek to extend and improve each other's learning, their literature. And the best way to extend and improve your own literature is by seeking and keeping such friends. It's obvious that invoking goodwill takes us into the realm of morality. So I will just note that fact and conclude by saying that our founders, in constellating literature, friendship, and morality as the guide stars of life, gave us not a random selection of virtues, but a coherent, interrelated grouping of concepts, equipping us to see why truth is important, that friends are a great aid in finding it, and how truth and friendship are both intrinsically moral issues. Thank you for this honor. Kate, I've learned a lot from you. And also from many, many members of Phi Beta Kappa. Judith Krug was my good friend and mentor, and a great, great champion of freedom of expression. I'm humbled as well as honored to receive a medallion forged in her likeness. Thank you.